Yeah. Reminisce. Yeah, and we live, man.
La 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 la. Once again, we're back.
Every time, man. Every time. Yeah, Reminisce Show, man. Every Tuesday, man, carrying traditions of Sankofa, because sometimes we got to go back to collect what we may have forgotten. And man, we're going to keep it popping, man. Keep the culture moving forward, being critical, connecting, man. That's just what we're all about, man. So you already know what it is.
That's what we do every week. Every week. Yo, brother, man, how you feeling? How you feeling? Start simple.
Yo, man, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. There's a lot that's been going on in media and hip hop culture and whatnot. So I know that we're definitely going to get into it. Um, yeah, it's there's definitely a lot, man. There's a lot.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
good, man. we're gonna make it happen regardless, yo. Yeah, but other than that, it's feeling good. I really can't complain, man. Just keeping positive vibes and keeping things going and all that good stuff. So that's what's up.
That's all we can do. Yes, sir. That's all we can do. Like it's just so many ups and downs. It's a weird time right now. But yeah, we keep on keeping on and
Keeping on. Like, how are you doing though, man? You're all moved in, settled in your new spot. Like, what's going on with that, yo?
Well, I'm moved in. I still got stuff to do. I got honestly 25 years of work to go through, so it's gonna take a few weeks for me to get it locked down. But it's a good challenge. It's a good challenge. Like having these archives is just like man, there's a lot. There's a lot. So much.
Lots of good archives, man. But yo, that's what I'm talking about, man, because that's what the Reminisce Show is all about, man. Preserving like our foundations, our history, so that we don't get lost in it, man. And I know that there's a lot to get into the news, but I kind of want to start off on like a more positive note, because I know that there's some things that we got to address.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to start positive too. I'm gonna say a really super quick little line, because there's been somebody online who's been giving flowers to the culture and just random people in hip hop. I'm just like, yeah, let's just big them up right now while they're still alive, period. Just talk about them. So one of them was Bahamadia, and then the other one was J-Root. And I was like, yes, let's talk about J-Root. Big up J-Root for no reason. Just big up J-Root the Damager. So the only thing I want to say is one of my favorite J-Root lines of all times is J-Root said, manifesting organizational skills, because organizational skills kills more devils than bullets.
Whew.
That's it. And I'm like, that is one of the illest lines ever. So I'm just trying to organize all my shit. It's like, in the system of Babylon, we need to organize more than anything else. So that's big up to you, and big up to all the organizers, because Martin Luther King was gathering people to march.
Well, that's what it is, and it's interesting, because I know earlier we're talking about how, like, when it comes to hip hop culture, we often put like artists and entertainers in this like space of advocacy, like they are like the spokespeople for our communities and whatnot. But like every so often, like there are artists that actually do hold that position really well and push the thoughts forward and stuff like that. So it's big though, you know what I mean? So I always appreciate that. When I think of like my foundations to hip hop culture and how I got into the scene, it was based off of like artists like J-Root the Damager and even Bahamadia, and people who really had like a critical lens on our community, you know what I mean? Like making like really concrete social observations, but not to like glorify, but in order for us to like know what we're dealing with in order to move forward.
That's exactly it. They weren't. They were saying, hey, sometimes there are small short-term gains to win from this and this lifestyle. We're not going to lie. There's cars, jewels, diamonds, furs, but there's also guns and violence and death and jail and prison. And like, you need to know about the whole story. That's how Ice-T taught it. That's how Cool G Rap taught it. MC8, these guys were like, yo, like the fast life is the fast life and it's glamorous, but it's also could be a short life. And let's never forget that. And like, that's
true indeed, man.
That's how it's like, yo, when people forget that part, it's like, y'all ain't really listening or paying attention to the culture. Because rappers have been saying this since the Reagan crack era started, since 1985. So
Mad facts, man. Super duper facts. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
man. But
yeah,
go ahead,
so yeah, there's in the news. There's lots going on. So yeah, let's start small because we know what the big one is today.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, I want to start more on like a positive note because there is some like critical analysis that we need to definitely get into because I think it's important. One of the elements of hip hop culture is to be critical, to have that kind of like critical lens and what have you. So so that being said, I'm going to share with you some Toronto history that you may have not been aware of. And I actually tweeted this the other day, so I'm going to pull this up on my Twitter feed. All y'all can follow me on Twitter, man, Logik416. Anyways, so I came across this post, man, of this brother named Mr. Q. And I just posted, I was like, yo, I just got put on to Mr. Q, Canada's first rapper, who arguably put out the first hip-hop diss record ever called Ladies Delight in 1979, aimed at Sugar Hill Gang's Rappers Delight. And not to mention that this record was recorded in Little Jamaica, man. Shout out to Eglinton West. So, the other day we spoke about Little Jamaica and the significance to like the culture, to the history, and it's just cool how it keeps popping up. Now, I've never heard of this guy before. I don't know, like you're like a hip hop historian. Like what are you saying when it comes to Mr. Q?
I've never heard of this until you told me this today. There's a few really old I think it's called, I don't know if it's called Canada Rap, but there was like a record from 1981. I've seen a few really, really old first Canadian pieces of vinyl. Yeah. This is earlier than all of them. And this is just as soon as you said Ladies Delight, I'm like, yo, man, that's a callback to Rappers Delight. That's what they, like, I came from the days where I was like 6 years old and I heard Roxanne, and then Roxanne's Revenge. And I'm like, yo, that's how rappers used to do. Songs would just be called back and forth to each other. Right. So this is sick. Right. And like, can we play this? I've never heard it. Like we could do
absolutely, man. Absolutely. We can play a little clip of that so y'all can it's on YouTube. Here we go. And if y'all know your funk, man, you know this sample right here.
Yo, that's why it's like one of them old ones. I think can't take in the whole 6-7 minutes. Wow, I'm gonna have to do some research on that. That is amazing.
So that is Mr. Q, man. Canada's first rapper. A lot of people hear about Maestro. They hear about a lot of individuals, man. But that's Mr. Q right there, man. Mr. Q doing his thing, man. Like, yo, that's the brother right there. And what's even crazier, is that he actually passed away earlier this year, like in January.
What?
So it's like, I don't even know if this brother even got his flowers, Like, I know you just mentioned about flowers and all that kind of stuff. And I don't even know if he really got that proper recognition or acknowledgement or whatever. But this seems like one of like the latest photos of this guy. So.
Yo, that has to be told for a few reasons. I wanted to talk about that anyways because I heard that and I'm like, yo, this guy is killing it as a rapper. This is dope. And like just on that whole like Toronto and Canada has always been like really fucking dope and slept on and like, comparable to America and sometimes a little bit doper, but I mean, they got 10 times the population, so they will always create more hip hop than we do. But we're always in Canada being like, yo, don't sleep on us. We're doper than you think. But
Right.
like that guy is kind of doper than the Sugar Hill Gang. Like one of the I'm saying it for real, because one of the Sugar, like I always mix up the story, but one of the 3 Sugar Hill Gang, he stole his rhymes from Kaz. I think it was Big Bang Hank, but like one of the 3 original dudes on that wasn't even a real MC. He stole his verse from another dude, and like this guy's murking it and has an original flow, and like
wow. Like I wish like maybe we can figure out how this record come on. Like I wonder if he heard that song and figured out that these guys even write their own raps or something like that, and it was like, yo, like hold on, let me do a little response. You know, I mean, I can see it going down something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
very possible, yo. And like thanks for putting me on. I never heard of this in my life, and obviously nobody knows every history, but yeah, there's a lot of really interesting. Like this was the first record that had rap on it. There's all these other. I don't know if people know about The Judge, but The Judge was like one of the real first rap songs ever. It was this really weird record that came out in like the 60s, I think. And like there are these few little points in time where you're like, yo, that is rap, and yet that is 50 years old or 40 years old. So like I never heard of that dude, and that's 41 years old or 40. Damn.
It's wild, yo. So like that's like, you know, and just to add to the history, he had a label that was called Our Very Own, you know. So I saw this, there's actually like a podcast. I think it's like his son is like being interviewed, and he's kind of like sharing stories about his father and whatnot. You can check that out on YouTube somewhere. And you know, he was someone who seemed to be really grounded in like family and putting his people on, like very much like how we operate, like, you know, very communal. So like he had this label called Our Very Own, and as you know, you break that acronym down, it becomes a very popular acronym that we have today, man. OVO.
That's so wild. Wow.
I don't know if he did a diss track to OVO or whatever, because apparently there is some type of connection. I don't know if some of the OVO camp like passed through studios that he was at too. I can't remember how the story was told, but there is some interesting intersection. I mean, I don't think it's like intentional like that, but nevertheless, it is interesting, you know. So
yeah, I mean, Drake's birthday is in October,
right? No, like, and you know, their whole brand, you know, and you know, we know that. I mean, those who've been following the whole like Drake movement know that they started off as ATF, you know, All Things Fresh, like that was kind of like the collective, and then they moved over to like October's Very Own, but it was more so like a blog at that time, at that period of time. Right. And then it became more of like a label brand and what it is today. So
yeah, well, that is just wild history to learn, yo. Thank you very much for putting me on. Mr. Q. Like shout out to Mr. Q, yo. Like, oh gee, you're still alive, brother. Your music still lives on, and there's gonna be more play to it. So
Mr. Q, yo, that's it.
Yo, that's dope. So there's a couple. I want to talk about verses for a little bit, just
yes, please. Okay.
Yeah. There's a few little things. So I don't know if you heard. I don't have the exact dates, but I think it's in 2 weeks. But Bone Thugs and Harmony is doing a verses against 3 6 Mafia.
So I heard that, man.
That's dope, and that's in Los Angeles too. So that's cool for everyone to like ease off the East Coast bias. But,
I like that. Yeah,
New York is a classic city. What can we say, yo? Like, I'm not gonna be mad.
It's important. But like, you know, LA, I think that's cool. That'll definitely bring a lot of vibes, and people will celebrate that. But you know, Bone Thugs and 3 6. That's a good match. I like that.
It is a good match.
That's a good match. You know what I mean? Because they both have. They've both like represented, you know what I mean, that had commercial success, you know, underground success, and just like culturally like bringing like a certain sound to the table.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of both. Like I'm more of like a Bone Thugs. Like I really grew up listening to Bone Thugs, like hard, you know, especially that like East 1999 album, you know, bumped that hard. Yo, that album honestly is a masterpiece. Like I don't care what anybody says, production wise, flow wise, like the harmonies, like the conceptually, because like they were into like, you know, like the occult and like mystical type of like, you know what I mean? Like I've always been like intrigued to that by that kind of stuff. So so you know, them doing that in their music was like pretty like advanced for the time. But then 3 6 Mafia is kind of on that vibe too. You know what I mean? Like they got some interesting, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
they do have those dark parallels. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's interesting though. But yeah, I think it's gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be good for the culture, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Very much so. It's a good matchup. And yeah, so as far as another like versus, this isn't quite a versus battle with Timbaland and Swizz Beatz, but there's been beef between Big Sean and Kanye. Kanye came out with his beef Drink Champs interview.
I remember that, yeah.
And some interesting part 2 came out, and I don't know if we went into this too much, but yeah, we did talk about the Kanye going a little overboard with his talk about the on his tombstone to write the stupidest thing I ever did, but like that was a little extra.
That's
yeah, but yeah, there's been a few new developments. Actually, one of the last things was Big Sean recently said he revealed he's like him and Hit Boy talked about how difficult it is to record with Kanye West. And
I can imagine.
Yeah,
I can imagine that. I can only imagine.
Exactly, and both of them had said this similar thing. Hit Boy goes, yeah, sometimes Kanye makes you change a snare 10 times and just keep changing it, and you're like, oh my god. And then Big Sean was like, yo, so I did that song Click, and he goes, I have 8 different verses that I had to re-record for that, and I wasn't even sure which one was gonna make it. And so Kanye's like, yeah, Kanye always makes you re-record your verses and all this stuff too. So it's just like, oh yeah, I'm saying all this to say the new release super deluxe version of Donda came out just yesterday or Sunday. So I don't even really care to check it, but just for those who care, it's a piece of news. Kanye, to be honest, like re-released Donda again.
I still haven't really checked out the Donda album. Like I don't know. I feel like I have to be like on a drive to like Montreal and we won't check my daughter or something like that. Then I can like really listen to the album. But I've tried to get into it, but I'm just not in the headspace for this like right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm still stuck in like the old Kanye. Like I still bump like College Dropout and you know what I mean, all these because there's memories attached to these albums. You know what I mean? So like I go back in time and reminisce.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been rinsing slow jams all fucking for the last 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
like that era, you know, like Kanye will always have that. No one will ever take that away from him. I just hope that you know he finds some balance and peace, and you know, but again, he is who he is, you know, and I think you know as we move through like with artistry, we have to accept artists as they are, and then figure out how we're going to engage with them. Right, because like you're saying, like people are talking about, okay, he's difficult to record with. Okay, well, maybe he's just not the guy you want to record with anymore. You know what I mean? Or maybe you have to be in a certain headspace for that, but that's not like your regular occurrence. You know, I mean, it is what it is. That's how he is, right? So, yeah, man.
And that's exactly it. It's the positive and the negative. It's like you know that you might get a very positive thing from it, but it also like you might have to go through hell to get to that final beat or song.
Yeah.
So
and everybody has their way of like conducting themselves. So you know.
Yeah.
So, it's all good though.
Random info from the life. I go through wavering moments of being a huge Big Sean fan because Big Sean and Drake had a little rivalry for a moment too. I don't know if people remember it, but yeah. The song "I'm on One," Drake, "I'm on One." As far as I know, he's going at Big Sean, and yeah. Like for a moment, and they were similar to the way Kanye is, where they were like frenemies and then enemies and then friends. Yeah. They were taking jabs at each other, and like I liked both of them, man. I was like, I'm on Drake's side, but I was like, yo, Big Sean's a dope rapper too, but they were taking shots. But now it's like it's really weird to have it break down, and now Kanye is doing that to Big Sean. And it's like, but anyways,
wilding, yo.
Wow.
All right. Well, cool, man. Well, like shout out to these artists in this crazy like world, you know what I mean? Because I know being an artist in the industry is it's an acquired taste, it requires a lot, but speaking of like people in the industry, the baby is a topic. You put me on to like he's in the mix again, like he's kind of always in the mix somehow, some way. But this one is involving like the mother of his child. And I'll let you like break that down a little bit. Then I'll say my 2 cents based on like the little glimpses that I'll be able to capture.
Yeah, okay. I definitely want you to speak a little more on this because you could have a different level of experience. But I just
Indeed.
a couple of days ago, and they were talking about how Danny Lee. I don't exactly know what she does, to be honest. I don't know if she's an R&B singer or a fashion. Yeah. But anyways, the mother of the baby's another child of his. I don't know if it's the second or third, but he has multiple mothers of his children, and he was on Instagram a day or two ago just running his mouth. I just found it like instantly disrespectful. He's just like, yeah, I had the baby for him. Like, the baby's brand new, born just like a week ago or less. Yeah. And the baby is like, yeah, this is my side bitch. Yeah, this baby mom is my side bitch. And I'm like, oh man, and she's standing right behind him, and it's very rude and disrespectful. So she's been just recently arrested for a simple assault because right after that, and then the baby kicked her out of the house. But I guess there was a mild domestic dispute thing, which is violence is never cool. I don't support violence, but no, I hate to say but to sound to justify it, but I mean, there's verbal. All I'm saying is there is verbal violence and there's physical violence, and neither one of them are cool. She did some physical violence. He did some verbal violence. And so yeah, man. How did you take it when you?
Yeah, indeed. Just from like based on what you're telling me about, how he was addressing her live on like Instagram Live and whatnot, and then like the one clip that I just saw of like the mother of his child is like nursing the baby. They're like not the baby, the artist, but their actual baby nursing the baby. Having the like sitting in the bed, just like like nursing, like
holding the child. Yes,
holding the child, and he's just like putting her on live and just like making their like private matters very very public, and it's just very to me it's like it's so toxic and just so like small-minded approach, you know what I mean? Like I get in the context of like feeling that you are threatened, because I understand like sometimes being a black male in society, and dealing with whatever, like you may want to document some stuff, so I get that. But in this particular case, it did not seem like that at all, and there's like some verbal exchanges back and forth, and I'm just like, people are going to be watching this just for their own entertainment, but this is like people's lives, it's and then when it comes to like our culture, man, like these type of images are something that like like who else does this? You know what I'm saying? Like we got to get out of this like this kind of like infant mindset, you know what I mean? Where we're like children at the sandbox, you know what I'm saying? Like we got to get out of that place and like develop into like mature like adults. I mean, like I just don't know like what is like the payoff, the benefit of it, like the clout, the hype, like I'm not exactly sure like what it is, and just for the simple fact that this is like the mother of your child, that regardless of the dynamics of the relationship, like that deserves a level of like respect, you know what I'm saying? Like it's an infant child, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously at some point things were blessed, because otherwise you wouldn't have a child, right? Like, you know what I mean? So you can't pretend that it was like a conflict from the jump, you know what I mean? So
absolutely. And you all chose to have the child together, so please pretend to be adults and at least do the best for the child. I'm like, this child, I mean, hopefully the child never sees the videos and stuff, but I'm like, this child is already absorbing mad negative toxic energy from these two parents fighting while the mother is holding the child. Like, this is just not a good environment to raise your child in, no matter how rich the father is. It's like, the money can't cure a whole bunch of negative words between a mother and a father. That's just not good. So like, it's just not cool. And like you said, I just wanted to add like the short-term benefit of quote unquote looking cool to some people who don't know you, or whatever online clout you get, a little petty, like, oh, that's some gangster shit. That's weak. It's not respectable, it's not mature, it's not healthy, it's not sustainable. Like, yo, that's not no family thing. You have a child with this person. 18 years, or at least you're supposed to be building something with this person. So how are you gonna be cussing them out in week one? Like, so yeah, like it's like this
Yeah,
short-term cloud is not worth like the long-term health of a child that the child needs.
it's wild, man, and unfortunate, man. And and I think like the reason why we give space to these moments is for like accountability. I mean, obviously nobody's perfect, whatever, but these are things that we can't like turn a blind eye to. You know what I mean? Like we got to figure out ways of how we can like push this culture forward, and heal, and just evolve. Like we got to get out of this infant like mindset. And I for me, I'm always interested in like who benefits off of all of this. You know what I mean? Like who really gets like the bigger check? You know what I mean? Like what's like the payoff here? And oftentimes it's not us from our communities. You know what I mean? Like we get like the exception to the rule, a certain minority of people who are the exception to the rule, who get away with whatever. You know what I mean? Who be like, they go to jail, come out the next day, and this and that. But like a regular man who were to do the same thing, that's not the same narrative. You know what I mean? So we kind of get like led to the fire. You know what I mean? Like led astray, run amok, bamboozled. All of that.
All of the above, absolutely. And it's never worth it. Like for that whole, yeah, definitely one day I'd love to go more into the whole thinking that going to jail and going to prison is a rite of passage for our young people. And
well, we have some. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, yo, there's no like white people, Asian, Latino, like so many other cultures don't think that way, and it's because it's really not healthy. Like a rite of passage is learning how to drive from your parents, or like learning how to shave, or like getting your first job. That's a normal rite of passage for any normal human being. Going to jail is not a rite of passage, or getting a gunshot, or getting your first gun, or selling crack is not like a rite of passage for a black man or a black life. And yo, we need to just keep reminding people that unfortunately might have forgot that fact.
Well, like I said, like we were talking about doing some stuff, for Black History Month and whatnot. We have a few different categories that we're going to address and really dive into them, and because there are some theories and some things that we really got to pay attention to. But moving forward and speaking on people who need to be, or sorry, like holding people accountable, what I mean is Africa Bimbada, man. And this one is still like a difficult, challenging one, because this is one of the founders of hip-hop culture. And I'm not going to take away from his like contributions to the movement and what he has brought forward, but we cannot disregard some of the actions and the impacts that have made. So this is a recent article that was put out September 10th, 2021. Africa Bimbada sued for sexual abuse, sex trafficking. Like this is wild.
Trafficking.
And so it says John Doe lawsuit alleges that hip-hop pioneers sexually abused and prostituted him starting at 12 years old in the early 90s. And I've been, now things have been coming up. That stuff has been happening since like the 80s. You know what I mean? So, and then just to add to it, he's kind of like MIA right now. Like I think, I don't know if he missed like a court date, or they're supposed to like send him like a subpoena or whatever the case is, but he's just kind of like MIA. And this is like extremely problematic, and there's a lot of like healing that needs to take place in this culture, but it starts with accountability and facing some of the damages and things that have been established. So it's kind of wild times right now.
You're absolutely right, 1,000%. And if you want to move forward and if you want to clear your name, if you've done a crime, the first step is 1, stop doing the crime, and 2, make peace and heal those victims that you have harmed, and take accountability and responsibility for the damage that you have done to the people, all of them, and make sure that you don't perpetuate it again. And he's done none of the above. He's just been ducking and hiding his eyes, hiding his face. The cops went to his location that was apparently his last known location for 15 years in the Bronx. And they went there, and there was this random black woman there who's like, I have no idea who you're looking for, and he has never lived here. So he apparently deceived the New York census or whatever, and like the cops or like they just didn't know what his real address was. So he's on the lam. He's ducked out, and it's like the other thing is if you even were even not guilty for a moment, like, yo, if somebody's accusing you of something, if they're accusing you of 50 crimes and you only did 49 or even one, then you got to stand clear and be like, yo, I didn't do that, but hey, I did that. But like, if you ain't standing up to him and say nothing, I'm going to believe that you did them all. Period. Exactly. I'm like, yo, man, you're MIA right now in the moment of truth where you're supposed to defend your name to any degree, and you're not showing up, bro. All of it, you're guilty of all charges to me. Like in the court of public opinion, you're gone. And
wow,
and it's not like, it's not like cut him off, kill him, whatever. It's like, no, like when you show up, bro, like you are. There's no. I'm not gonna have barely any sympathy for you, right? When you're caught, it's like, how can we? You're like, you've almost all your integrity in every moment. You have shown none, and so you just got to catch him and then finish it. And peace to the victims, because some of the victims have been through hell and they've been silent for decades, and it's brutal. But
yeah, it's hard. Like I mean, just work like. And I'm pretty sure they've spoken out many times, and people were, and as we know, like a lot of artists kind of like turned a blind eye, or just, or just didn't believe them and whatnot. But now things are really coming out. And like I said, like, I think it's an opportunity for him to like, just come clean. And yeah, it's going to be challenging and whatnot. But, integrity, I think, really goes far in the long run. We can look at it and be like, yo, like he actually came through and was transparent and did his best to restore integrity. Like, I think there is an opportunity to do that. Yeah, it's not easy. I get it though. But looking at it from like a larger cultural, because it's not just him as an individual. We're talking about this whole, like the culture now. You know what I mean? Like there's an opportunity where there's some, integrity could be like move forward though. But, we'll see how this plays out. Hopefully, like, he gets the courage to do the right thing. And we can, let the victims, people who are impacted by all of this, move forward. So, wild.
Super wild, yo. And yeah, peace to the victims. I've heard one of the victim statements talk about it, and he didn't even want money. He's just trying to absolve his soul, his conscience before he died, because he was one of the early victims from the 70s. And he's like, I'm a 51-year-old black man just working for the city in New York right now. He's like, I'm going to die pretty soon. And I just want to clear my soul and conscience. Because like, imagine being black and living in New York and actually living in the Mecca of hip hop and being abused by one of the 3 founding fathers of hip hop. That, like, the burden. Every time anything hip hop happens, you're like, yo, man, like people don't know the real. Like, yeah. So true. Yeah, but yeah, peace to all y'all. Peace. It's just heartbreaking. And peace to our viewers, peace to anybody watching.
What's up, man? I don't know if there's anything else to add. I don't know. You probably got some flyers. Is that cola champagne you're drinking there?
Yes, it is. Yeah, bro. I wish I had some for you.
Yo, man, we need that. I need that cola champagne sponsorship, yo. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, I'm digging the bag. The new bag of magic. Oh man. Yo, I got the bag of magic is different now, yo. We got so much gold.
Let's go.
Yeah, I didn't grab. I mean, I got all these super Mindbender things. I don't want to be all about Mindbender right now, but
yeah, that's okay. It's all good, man.
Oh shit! Yeah, this was cool. I gotta hide this because I got the man's email on here, but
Oh,
This
wow.
is from the Cannabis Show.
When was that, yo?
Cannabis came here twice, and this is, I'll have to fold it over because this is from this powered by I Respect Music Movement.
Okay, right.
Shout out to I Respect Music. If anybody remembers, they did the thing. But yes, Cannabis did these. He had these papers that he was autographing, but he put his contact. He put his contact on here, so I'm not gonna blow up his contact. But yeah, Cannabis came and he performed on Dundas, at Dundas and Bathurst. I think it's called the Hard Rock Club or Hard Rock Club. But it was this mad, intense, close venue. It was tight, and Cannabis was hype as hell, yo. He came in, and there was like 9 or 10 opening acts. There was a lot, but like he murdered it. Canada came through and blessed Canada. And I've seen him twice actually, but like that was a really great show. So unfortunately, there's no dates on it, but I do think it was probably like 2012.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll start digging up more, and
get it, yo.
History is history.
All right, man. Well, yo, that's peace, man. You
know yeah. There's one tiny little thing I saw. I mean, there's a bunch of news that I didn't get to, but I just want to send a quick little shout out to Keisha Cole, because apparently her dad just died of COVID. And her mom died of COVID 4 months ago. So it's like just
wow, that's
peace. Just going through it. So just like
peace, yo.
Peace to Keisha Cole, and like it's just to be like, yo, this shit still ain't over. You know, not that we were doubting it or anything, but like people are still going through it. So be safe, everyone. Be safe out there. Take care of each other, and
we'll leave y'all like that, man. So yo, man, every Tuesday, Reminisce Show.
What up? Last thing. I want to hopefully get into some concert vibes soon, because Teyana Taylor is performing at Drake's venue History on Thursday.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I want to get up in there, and because apparently this might be her going away tour. I think the tour is called Last Kiss Goodbye Tour or something like that. And I know she was talking about retirement anyway. So I saw the title of the tour, and I'm like, oh shit, this might be it. So so Teyana Taylor's performing at Thursday at Drake's venue. I'm gonna go see History, and I'm very happy to see this venue. And
that's dope, man.
I'm going to try to get some footage to bring back for next week. That's what
some footage, and I know that Mustafa, the poet, is going to be performing December the 1st. You know, but that's at I think it's at Massey Hall, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
That's put out with Manifesto, so you know we got some passes to that. So you know, hopefully we'll get some exclusive footage, and who knows, maybe an interview or something, man. You know, this is fam. You know, Manifesto, Stones from Africa. Let's get it. So yo, that's what's popping, man. December the 1st, and we'll probably, you know, discuss more of that as it comes up, you know, play some of Mustafa's videos and just get people in tune, man, because he's an incredible artist, you know, hailing from Toronto inner city, man, Regent Park, but has taken it global by storm. I mean, the way how he's been moving and the way how he's been using his music to heal some of the pain and grief that he's experienced from the loss of friends who have died from gun violence is incredible. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but yo, that's how we do it, man. Reminisce Show every Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Love and love. Peace and
peace. Like that, yo. Till next time, yo.
All right.